health leadership group consisting of Trisha, Travis, and Matthew. For our sustainable development goal, we decided to go with good health and well-being, which is the third of the United Nations groupings. But more specifically, we decided to focus on mental health within this good health and well-being. We realized that sometimes mental health can easily be forgotten about, but it's something that's very important to focus on. We all have a passion for mental health advocacy and awareness, and specifically for me, I know that I've met many friends throughout my lifetime where I've realized that they've struggled with mental illnesses. So I'm passionate about learning more and becoming more of an advocate for it.
Yeah, I would say my passion for it is very similar to Travis's. I had a lot of friends growing up, and even right now in college, that really have been struggling with mental health, and I've also really had a difficult time finding those resources because of the lack of accessibility. I also serve as a You Matter We Care ambassador, which works to connect students and student organizations with resources for mental health, both on and off campus. So that's why I personally am also very interested in this topic.
And reflecting on my personal experiences throughout my involvement at the University of Florida, and really being involved with our Sustainable Development Goal number 3, good health and well-being, through my time at UF studying psychology and being involved in the UF Psychology Club and starting out as a media marketing director for the club, and then moving up the ranks to a vice president, and also working in my lab involvement, my research involvement at the university through the Department of Clinical and Health Psychology and the Department of Psychiatry, and also working with people in terms of clinical interviews and working with other students and seeing some of my friends being involved with Shan's volunteer work there. And through these experiences and through my reflection on my time at the university has really allowed me to see the importance of mental health within the school setting. So I briefly want to talk about NAMI and their mission. So NAMI is an organization that is all over the world, and we have a satellite office in Gainesville, and there's over 600 NAMI affiliates throughout the United States. And what they basically do is they provide support groups, they provide courses and presentations. They also have a helpline where people can call a crisis center and they can get immediate help when it's needed, especially during this time that we're in now regarding COVID. They also offer like peer mentoring programs and involvement within the community to help reduce stigmatization regarding mental illness. And so this is important because it's reducing the stigma, and it's providing the community with resources to help allocate necessary means to help reduce the stigma and provide these necessary resources.
So now I'm going to talk about why NAMI and how their work really aligns with our Sustainable Development Goal. So as we can see, good health and well-being, as we discussed before, is a very broad, all-encompassing goal. It's really important to note that there are many different aspects that can contribute to well-being. We typically think of the physical aspect of physical health, whether it be nutrition, exercise, things like that. But arguably mental health is one of the most important parts of well-being and good health. We chose NAMI because NAMI really is a key player in lessening the burden of those who struggle with mental illness. Their incredible work in the community really does contribute to the community's overall health and well-being. Especially because they work on ending the stigma of mental health as an invisible illness, one arguably that many people have not taken seriously in the past and even looked down upon at points. And again, kind of saying that they really did contribute, NAMI really does contribute to the health and well-being of the community. And we chose them just because of their incredible work and how it really does align directly with our goal. So now we're going to talk about the 7 C's and their importance for NAMI. The first being commitment, and those within the mental health realm, kind of remaining dedicated in your goals and having those clearly seen will ultimately set NAMI up for success. The next one is going to be consciousness of self, which is fully understanding the goals of their own organization and the people they work with. That specifically being the volunteers, those who struggle with mental illness, their family and friends who do attend their different peer trainings, and really understanding the goals of everyone involved and why they're doing what they're doing. And the final one I'm going to talk about is congruence, which is ensuring that your goals and actions are in harmony both in the community and the organization. So understanding who you're working with and why you're working with them specifically, and really making sure that the goals and actions of everyone really does align, will ultimately set NAMI up for success in their attempts to better the community.
And I'm briefly going to talk about citizenship and collaboration and how NAMI can use these two aspects of the 7 C's in order to help facilitate change, positive social change. The citizenship is important because it allows every member of the community to realize that they have a impact and that they can lead change individually by being involved in some of the events that NAMI leads on. And collaboration is important because it allows the community to be involved in a way that can help facilitate this change through academic means, through faculty at the Department of Psychiatry, or through psychiatrists at Shands and Department of Psychiatry as well. And so combining academia and combining different members of the community and really collaborating with different projects on different levels can help facilitate change across the board for NAMI.
So something that kind of ties in all of these things together is common purpose, where you ensure that the values and the goals within the organization, or within the values and the goals within the members of the organization, are aligning with the goals of the organization. So something that can really help strengthen this common purpose is by having strong communication from the leaders within NAMI to make sure that the volunteers and workers for the organization are all working towards the same positive common purpose. Going off of that, controversy with civility. It's really important to make sure that all the workers within the organization have a feeling that their ideas and different viewpoints are really supported, and they feel comfortable sharing what they have to say, so that you can help better the organization and send the organization in the right direction and become the most effective. So before this pandemic occurred, we were originally planning on bringing in a speaker to help with our project. So at the end of this video, we're linking in a video from Hugh, who is a medical student here at the University of Florida that we met while working with NAMI. And he opens up and shares his struggles with mental illnesses and just wants to advocate for decreasing the stigmatization of mental illnesses.
And so this concludes our presentation. We want to thank you very much for listening. Well, Dr. Sedman, thank you for listening, and this is the end of our presentation.
My name is Hugh Wynn, and I'm here to talk about my mental health experience, or my experience with mental health, and show off my dog. There she is. But in all seriousness, I just want to, before I start, I want to have you all get to know me. I love to cook. I'm a big foodie. Although you can catch me in the kitchen cooking Italian food, Asian food, steak. One of my favorite recipes is the Dijon mushroom steak. It's like Dijon mustard, honey, rosemary, mushrooms, the baby bell mushrooms, with some oil and salt and pepper, and then some steak with some like steak seasoning. Oof. And then you put that over white rice. Wow. It's delicious. My mouth is watering right now. But I gotta finish this talk and then I can go eat. So, other things I like to do is I love listening to music, all kinds of music. But even though I like listening to music, I cannot go a day without listening to all sorts of nonfiction topics like personal development, leadership, positive psychology, finance, politics, and social science. And it's all very fascinating to me. And I grew up in Tampa, Florida. I was raised by two Vietnamese parents who were refugees, and They I lived a pretty privileged life. Grew with my sister. Tiffany, she's a little sister. She goes to FSU now. She's a sophomore. Um, and she's really great. We're pretty close. And I lived in Tampa for pretty much all my life until I went to study psychology in Gainesville. And then I eventually went to medical school here in Gainesville as well. So aside from that, I also have an adorable dog. Her name is Bailey. She forever looks like a puppy. And she's an amazing friend. Hi, Bailey. And she brings me so much joy. Thank you. And around the end of my freshman year, and beginning of my sophomore year of high school, I began to start experiencing the first signs of depressive episodes and ruminating thoughts. And it was definitely not something that you see with an average person. Now, I didn't seek help because I was uneducated about the realities of what it feels like to live with anxiety and depression. I just felt like I was simply oversensitive. That's just what my parents told me. And when I first heard it from my girlfriend at the time, I denied it. She said, "Hugh, I think you have anxiety." And I just dismissed her worries. I felt like that was only reserved for those who weren't normal. And now that I'm older, I know that it's completely normal to experience something like that. And it's a lot more common than we think. So as I matured in college and made my way to medical school, the same feelings of crippling anxiety and depression were not only still present, but were worsened by the extra demands that these rigorous programs brought. So when I was struggling the most and had eventually received a diagnosis for major depressive disorder and generalized anxiety disorder, during my first year of medical school, I felt so relieved that we identified the variables outside of my control, and I was able to begin treatment for the things that had been affecting me for so long. Being depressed and anxious felt like I was drowning in ants. And ants, according to the learning specialist Jim Quick, stands for automatic negative thoughts. See, these thought patterns were like ants because of how insidious and numerous they were. These thoughts were filled with hurtful judgments of what occurred in the past, worried thoughts that catastrophized the future, and irrational mantras that were continually playing in my mind like a broken record. It was very difficult to transition to the next activity, even the essential ones like studying for my upcoming exam or performing basic hygiene. And because my grades fell and I never had the energy to take care of myself, it was so easy for me to fall deeper into my depression and get lost in the cycle of just unsolvable anxiety. Even when the things people said to talk me down before no longer worked because I was constantly feeling irritable and I felt misunderstood, and it was just I was in a really dark place. It was not until after I failed my third exam in my basic science course that I became suicidal. I tried reaching out to people closest to me, but everyone was busy on that Friday night, and I felt so utterly alone and hopeless. I thought about crashing my car as I was driving at night, so I decided to call the suicide hotline to have them calm me down. And I became desperate for someone to pull me out what I was going through. And from that point on, it became a lot easier, kind of progressively easier to prioritize my health and let go of the short-term goals of passing my exams or maintaining a certain image. I eventually decided to take a medical leave of absence to allow myself more time to seek treatment and develop better coping mechanisms. After seeking treatment from a team of multiple psychologists, a primary care physician, and a psychiatrist, I was able to learn healthier ways of thinking and more sustainable habits like proper sleep, daily pleasant activities, exercise, and mindfulness to ground me during stressful times. So my friends and family thankfully were extremely supportive in financing my appointments, giving me time to figure things out, not judging me, and counseling me through these difficult times. And I was able to come off medication within weeks. I was able to fall in love with culinary arts, mental health advocacy, and spend more time with my dog and those I cared about. Now, unlike people who are not afflicted by mental illness or are not predisposed to it, I believe that it's very important for me to integrate proper sleep, exercise, nutrition, and something to look forward to each day. I used to think that you had to burn the candles both ways in order to be working hard enough. But now, I'm a big believer in the philosophy of you can have your cake and eat it too. In fact, you should have your cake and eat it too. In other words, self-care is a non-negotiable. And I've grown to be more health conscious since I'm more at risk of relapsing. Right now, I'm looking forward to returning to medical school to test out all my new habits and live the well-rounded life that so many preach about. I consider it a victory each day to stay true to my self-care routine, and if I can look myself in the mirror each day and know that I tried my best, that's enough. And I want to continue to share my story and help those acquire the strength to share theirs as well. And I think I could do that by establishing a National Alliance on Mental Illness chapter at the College of Medicine here at University of Florida. And after finding solace and hearing about so many other people's experiences, I'm confident that the meaning that I have gained from my own will translate to my practice and hopefully the parts of my life beyond my career. I really appreciate you all listening. I hope you all learned something today, and hope to meet you all soon. Thank you.